Hello people of the internet, welcome back to the Armbar arcade and welcome back to the Retro Lounge for some Revolt. On the N64, it's also on the Dreamcast, but the Dreamcast is particularly unreliable, as we saw in the Sonic Adventure stream, so I've decided to go for the N64 once again. I think that's a couple of weeks of N64 in a row, but I can leave the cables plugged in that way, so everybody wins. So what I'm going to be attempting to do in this stream is unlock some of the cars, some of the tracks, and if we can't do that, then I suppose we'll just use cheats, as you know, all retro games do. Let's have a look. So we've got some difficulty settings. I'm going to use console because full speed simple collision sounds good to me. Arcade and simulation probably a little bit too complex for N64 graphics, so we're going to enter our player name as Nay, but if we enter some different things later on, we might be able to unlock some of the cars and tracks, so we'll look out for that in a little bit. Here are the cars that we can choose from in the beginning. We've got the RC Bandit, which is obviously a remote control bandit, Dust Mite, the Fat Slug, which is my favourite name for a car at least, Colonel Moss, who sounds like a wrestler, Harvester, Dr. Grudge, which is what I'm going to be racing with. We've got the touring car looking Vulcan Turbo, but it's a terrible car to drive, and the Sprinter XL. Hello Preston, hello James, welcome. So yeah, we're gonna go with Dr. Grudge as our car. It's got a bit of a medical theme, and we're going to go for the Bronze Cup. So we've got to place third or better in each race to progress. Finish top of the table to access the next challenge. Yeah, Toebox turbos, and there's one more as well. Stunt GP on the Dreamcast also does that. Crash into the Fat Slug on the start line there. But we get ourselves up into second place. Now the thing with this is there's lots of obstacles and things to look out for because we are a tiny car and obviously these are real streets. Woo! Okay, I thought that was going to be a cool jump, but apparently it was more of a flip your car over, sort of stuntman looking thing. So there are weapons in this game as well, so we've got that to look out for. We've gone into first place, everyone else is useless, wonderful. So yeah, when I said there were no weapons last week in F-Zero X, we're going to make up for it this week by having weapons and getting lost potentially. No, I think we're driving the right way. I think. We're still in first, so okay. So the Fat Slug's overtaken us, but we were driving the right way at least. There's several points on these tracks where you can choose which way you want to go, so you have to be a little bit careful not to get lost. Or flip your car over. It's gone alright though. We're in first after one lap. 2 more laps to go. This is another game where I literally can't look down and read chat because the speed of the game is a little bit too fast. Okay, maybe duck under a car. I was going to read the chat and then we had to duck under the car. Ah, we got hit with a weapon, but it's fine. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're dropping any frames, so that is the legit frame rate of the game. I guess there's a little bit of pop-in and some other stuff, but it is on the N64, so... Okay, we're going the wrong way. I can't say I know the tracks like the back of my hand, because I really don't. I also don't really know what the back of my hand looks like, so... We'll just have to deal with that as we... Ah, the collisions are a little bit... If you hit something, you sort of go pinging off to any direction. It's okay though, we've only got to place third or better in every round, so we shouldn't struggle too much. I don't know, the steering is a little bit... It's one of those things with like remote control cars, obviously if you hit anything, the steering just goes sort of a little bit crazy. But this can be a track learning experience if nothing else, and we're catching up to Colonel Moss, slowly but surely. It shows how many meters we are from the car in front, but my face is probably covering that, thinking about it. Aha, here are our leaders. Yeah, I'm noticing now actually the frame rate when I turn is incredibly... That might be part of the issue with how difficult it is to drive. Oh, we got a weapon as well. What? Not a weapon, a boost. It's all gone a bit Mario Kart. Ah! The problem with the boost was it was kind of too fast for us. Threw me off a little bit. But we're going to take second place, so it's not the worst. Yeah, exactly. I know the tracks like the back of my hand, except I couldn't pick it from a line-up of the backs of people's hands. I don't know, they don't really have those. Anyway, we've got some points, 4 points. So, okay, that's a weird scoring system for a championship. 5 points, 4 points, 3 points, no points. That is definitely something that they need to fix, but it's okay. We can continue to the next one. I thought we were going to come last, so we've done alright. This one's called Supermarket 2. We haven't been to Supermarket 1 yet, but here's Supermarket 2. Now, I kind of like that the locations in this game are based off like real-world locations. I think that's a really nice touch. And like here, you've got your icy kind of freezer in the supermarket. That's, although the ice driving is not to my tastes, but the theming is. Right, okay, we're back on, I would say tarmac, but it's in a supermarket, so whatever the flooring is in a supermarket. We've got some sort of lightning that we can use once I figure out where we're going. Okay. Seems like I also know this track like the back of my hand. Ah, this way. I did do a little test play before I started streaming, but I didn't actually play this track, so that's the main problem. So it's an icy hairpin. I think we handled it a little bit better that time, but when the grip returns, it throws me off a little bit. That's an obstacle. Yeah, it's weird. There's basically, if you brake at all, it kind of just throws you in a 180. So we're just going to have to not brake. That's the challenge for the rest of the stream is okay, that was a bomb of some sort. Still learning the weapons. Where are we going? There is a little pointy arrow to sort of show you where you need to go, but it's right in the bottom corner, so it's not something you'd really look at. I want my arrow like up on the top of the screen, really. Like in Crazy Taxi, you've got a massive arrow right on the top of the screen. That was a weapon that I've used. I don't know if it's done anything. We'll find out if we don't come last, which it looks like we will. Still, good learning experience. Seeing as we technically can't come last in a race, we just have to do a bit better this next time. It's this icy bit that's really throwing me off, though. I think that added to the N64 graphics, it's not a winning combination. It's a good game, like it reminds me of Micro Machines, but obviously not from above, with a few other elements. That was pretty poor though. We did do a little bit of driftu, but we've got 3 tries left to do better than that, so let's try that again. We're back at the supermarket for our money back. Up against the Sprinter XL, the Fat Slug and Colonel Moss. So we've got to watch out for the ice here. While we fire off some sort of firework. Which has damaged us. That was my firework. Although, we seem to have made it into first place somehow. We appear to be being targeted, but I don't know, I'm trying to shake them off. But we're in first place. I don't know how that's happened. We're not doing any better than the last time, are we? Let's follow the Fat Slug. That sounds like a plan. Yeah, I've noticed the frame rate isn't helping this, like the ease of driving in this game. Maybe we'll have to get the Dreamcast version out sometime, see if it's any better, because I remember Obviously the Dreamcast has better frame rates and like processing, but also it tends to throw you back to the main menu pretty easily. Yeah, the handling, I don't know, the handling of this car is okay. Like, it's got heavier handling than a lot of the RC cars, but it tends to kind of get blown up randomly. No, I don't know. We're still in second place though. I think we've got a kind of an easy second if we just continue in this way. Although we are being caught up. The guy in first has just run away with first place. The problem is that every time I steer it, oversteers or understeers, it's hard to tell what it's going to do. Like, unpredictable handling. It's not bad handling. Like, I think RC games in general just tend to have kind of, you know, if you catch on anything or hit anything, it's a little bit unpredictable. We've sent a bowling ball out behind us. That's a bit Mario Kart. See, it just spins. Like, I didn't press anything and we did a 360. So the guy in first has literally finished. So I guess we better hurry up. But you only get points for where you finish, so as long as we can still take second place, I'm not going to mind too much. Although we'll probably get caught up when I say that. Nope, we came second. Just. There was about, what was that, 100th, 1,000th of a second? Something like that. A very small amount of time between us and third place. And fourth place is just nowhere to be seen. So, what does that do to the championship table? Colonel Moss was first, but now us and Fat Slug are tied. So this is, at least this seems like one of those games that just, it gives you a chance. It's not the same person coming first all the time. So hopefully that will work out in our favour as we continue. So Museum 2. I sort of remember Museum as one of the more complex tracks. It's going to be A Night at the Museum 2. Now, where does this go? Was that missing a texture? That was just like see-through. I don't know if that was supposed to be see-through, but it confused me. I'm going to try and zoom through here. Wow, the frame rate is actually terrible through there. It's not easy to drive at the best of times, but when the frame rate dips to about 15 FPS, it's just a bit of a challenge. We are still third. Someone's managed to mess up more than we have, which is interesting because, I mean, I didn't think that was possible. I don't know if the game is failing to load some textures here, but this is all see-through. This is, maybe it's supposed to be see-through. I mean, it could be the Science Museum. And we've hit a wall. And another wall. The walls just keep appearing out of nowhere. I think we've sent some water balloons out. Those are decent weapons. Yeah, so that's just completely see-through. For whatever reason. The track does sort of go all over the place. It's a bit like Micro Machines where, like, you sort of expect, I don't know, to be notified of turns, and it's just sort of like, nah, it's this way. Like, it's very dark as well. I can hardly see where I'm going. Not to criticise this museum, but you know, they could do with a bit more lighting. I've been to the Natural History Museum, and it's lighter than this. I don't know, walls out of nowhere. It just seems like a little cheap to me. Like, you know, on the Nordschleife, they're not like, oh, there's a wall there, watch out for it. Still, we're not that far off third place still, but I think we'd like to do a bit better than third for the standing's sake. But it doesn't seem like the AI are that much better at the game than we are. I mean, they're not hitting as many walls, but they're still hitting a few. So 3 laps of the museum. If we can sort of master where it goes, maybe we can outsmart the AI next time. That's kind of my plan, is like draw a mental map of the museum and then hopefully it'll be a little bit easier. And we've got another weapon. Well, that went behind us. There's no one behind us. If we were getting lapped, then they'd have already won the race, so that was useless. Yeah, we're about 85 metres from the car in front, so not the greatest performance this time, but it gave us a chance to learn the museum track. Not liking this car too much, actually. When I played it as a sort of tester, I thought, oh, this is going to be the one, but maybe we'll choose a different car for the next championship. That was pretty terrible, gotta say. Not really showing off my RC skills. Not that I have any RC skills, but it's one of those. It's one of those genres of games where there aren't even that many games, like Micro Machines, Stunt Grand Prix, Toy Box Turbos. That's like, in addition to Revolt, that's about it. I think there was one called Toy Racer on the Dreamcast where you race literal toy cars, but I don't know, everything was kind of building off the kart racing craze of Mario Kart. Oh, thanks. Thanks for zapping me backwards. That was really kind of you. It's not like I don't already know where I'm going. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of, like, weapons. Oh. I'm not a massive fan of weapons in games, like driving games. Like, obviously, Mario Kart, you need some weapons. And, like, maybe Crash okay, we're gonna explode because we are the bomb. We didn't actually get to pass that on to anyone. And now I can't see where I'm going. So, that was hugely successful. It's so dark. That corner is so dark. It needs lighting up. If someone could just light that corner for me, I would be eternally grateful. Still, we're learning the track. That's all that matters. I saw some like laser things there, as if someone's going to break into the museum to steal the art. Maybe that's what we're doing. We're sending a little RC car in. I think the main problem is you can't get any speed up, because the second you get speed up, you crash into a wall. It's like, oh yeah, go this way. Or what? In fact, we are entirely lost. Is it? Okay, the arrow's telling me this way. That's a wall, my dude. The arrow's just being like, yeah, steer into a wall, mate. That's fine. Every time. Every single time we've hit that wall. Like, I don't know. Is it me or is it the wall? I reckon it's the wall, but it might just be me. Who is most at fault? This is a terrible track. Like, there's actually so much stuff in the way. Are you kidding? We literally completed a lap and it didn't recognise the... Nah, I'm not having that. I completed the lap. Unless we had one lap to go, but... I don't know, I thought we completed the race, but apparently there's another lap. I don't know, it's either the scale of the game or something is really off-putting in terms of crashing into walls. And I don't mean to like complain about it, but if you can't see what's coming up, how can you avoid it? Are we just running really wide on corners? But that's... The arrow's telling me to go that way, and then they're like, no, don't go that way. It's so easy to flip your car as well. This is just turning into like one complaint fest about the game, but if that's how it's going to be, so be it. There's just so much you can crash into. Wow. So we added another like 2 minutes onto the times of every other car. Well, I think I know what we're going to do. And it's not unlock all the cars yet, because that will come with time. But I'm going to go for the championship. We're going to go in the junior RC section, because that's what we need. We need the junior RC. And we'll choose a different car, maybe something a bit more balanced. Like the Dust Mite. The Dust Mite looks quite balanced in terms of its stats. We're going to have to play the Bronze Cup because the silver one's locked. But we might have more of a chance. And we know these tracks a little bit, so that's my thinking, is slow it down a bit, make sure that the opponents are absolutely useless, and we might have a chance. Well, this is more realistic speed in terms of actual remote control cars. Like, they don't go over like 20 miles an hour. That being said, I don't know, maybe that was the problem before, it was just a little bit too fast. This does make us a little bit more of a sitting duck though when it comes to weapons, so we'll have to watch out for that. We've got some sort of pipe. Well, that's done absolutely nothing, so that's great. This feels more like remote control car games that I'm used to, even though because of the sort of scale of the tracks, it feels a little bit slower than we're used to. I don't know. It's hard to make a well-balanced remote control car game, in my opinion. Obviously, you've got to get the scale right. I think Stunt GP did a good job because all the tracks were kind of based more in like racing, whereas these are based on like neighborhoods and supermarkets, and it's sort of a little bit more micro machines, which is fine. Micro machines is good from a top-down perspective, but I feel like scaling it so that it's like an actual racetrack, it just gets a little bit confusing, especially in like the museum where there's tons of stuff that you can crash into. But it's a close race at the moment. The Vulcan Turbo is only 8 meters behind us or so. And it sounds, yeah, he's just shot past us. Come back. Trying to look out for shortcuts, but there's not really that many shortcuts in these kind of tracks. Like there's a few ways where, there's a few places where it splits ways, but that's about it. Can we send? Is it possible to send? No. All that happens is you crash into a curb because you don't have enough speed. Now we're being harassed by this guy, Dr. Grudge. I like the music. It's got very sort of classic racing game music. Like, if you got a racing game in the 90s, chances are the soundtrack would sound a bit like this, with sort of electronic soundtrack going on behind it. Now we got some water balloons. The question is, can we release them behind us? The answer is no. Unless I press the wrong button, but I think we can only shoot them forward, so we'll save those just in case we get overtaken on this last lap. Or we could just shoot them at nothing. I'm not sure going up ramps really helps. I think it slows us down. Maybe we should avoid ramps from now on. So we got electric. There's one thing that turns you into a bomb, and then it's like a sort of hot potato thing where you have to crash into another car to transfer the bomb to them. So we're going to avoid that power up, because inevitably if you're in first, you're just going to stay in first and then explode. So, oh, I forgot where the track went for a minute. They definitely need to move. Obviously they've got the arrows there that tell you where to go, but there's like another arrow just above the position indicator, so it's a little, I don't know, I think maybe it would be handy to move the move my face over to the right hand side of the screen so you can see what's going on. Again, the handling has absolutely cost us there. Like, we literally hit the edge of the tunnel. I'm going to try and cut through though. Did we come? We came first. We came first by 600ths of a second, 6,000ths of a second, whatever that's called. It was close, but I stole first place. So it's definitely a better class for us, if a little bit slow, which, you know, I apologise, but would you rather see me win or struggle? Probably struggle, knowing the Armbar Arcade Discord. Anyway, here's Supermarket. We're going to try and do a little bit better in this one as well. We've just smashed the Vulcan Turbo into a wall, so that's good. Now, watch out for the icy bit. Well, that's not too bad at this speed. Okay, no it is. Too much steering just literally spins the car out, so we'll avoid that if we can. I don't know what those are. It's supposed to be like produce, I think. I've like fruit and veg, but it literally just looks like a pinball bumper. To me, anyway. We'll use the bowling ball to get rid of the dudes behind us. Cut that corner a little bit tighter. I think we're getting the hang of this now. Not that I think I could do any more difficult class, but we'll try and... it's so easy to spin your car 180 degrees, like, far too easy. At least the soundtrack's banging. Just reminds me of, like, getting a new racing game and bringing it home and trying it out. That's the sort of... They'd always had this kind of soundtrack. We used to have like a retro game store quite... Well, in my town where I live, we used to have a retro game store that was... It was a bit like a proto-CEX, so people would trade their games in and they'd sell them obviously at a higher price, but it seemed better than CEX because it was a bit more like locally run sort of thing. But I used to get games all the time there, and I wouldn't know what they were. I got stuff like Jet Set Radio there where I thought, oh, this looks cool, and like it's turned out to be one of my favourite games ever just from picking it up because it looked cool. So I think it's always worth... Like, CEX has kind of killed that off now, but it was always worth back in the day taking a little punt on something that looked cool, like a racing game or whatever, really. I never had Revolt back in the day, like it's something I've picked up more recently. Have a firework that exploded both of us. But I think the Dreamcast version probably is better. Like, this is... The frame rate issues and a few other things have made it a little bit harder to drive. Wow, so the guy who finished first has just finished. Oh no, it's just round the corner. We weren't that far behind. But yeah, it's kind of a rare thing these days to pick up games without knowing anything about them. Like, you'll always see a little promo or some sort of trailer for it before you pick it up. Whereas back in the day, you'd go to the game store and just be like, I fancy this. And like, you wouldn't know what it was and it might be good. Sometimes they were terrible, but that was kind of how I found some of the early terrible games that I harp on about nowadays. Well, it looks like that bit is supposed to be clear in the museum. So we've slowed it down a little bit, so hopefully it's going to be easier to drive. We're going to firework this guy. if that was me, I would have been annoyed, but obviously, seeing as it's someone else, I really couldn't care less. So I think there's a fake item box thing, a bit like Mario Kart, that you can plant. Hopefully we don't crash into that, because I didn't really take note of where I put it. Ah, the walls though. This track is absolutely terrible for just putting walls in places that you would not expect walls to be, like there. We got some sort of electric force field around us. I think we're supposed to hit other cars with it, but I actually can't get anywhere near another car, so that was a bit of a waste. That guy's just exploded for some reason, but we'll take his position quite happily. I don't know why he exploded, but he did. Nice little hallway. And we avoided hitting a wall for once. Nice. Okay, so we're in third. It's not that bad. We can deal with third place. It's this turn, like, it's such an unnatural turn to just be like, yeah, you could go straight on, but actually go left. Feels a bit like the Luigi's Mansion track, I think, in one of the Mario Karts is a bit like that. It's just sort of like, and here's a turn for no reason. It's like, but why? The one that goes outside. If you know, then you know. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then obviously ignore that. That's quite a cool weapon. Sort of scrambles your opponent's car. We are getting better at this track, I feel. Little by little, we're making progress. Plus, I'm in second place now, so that's... should be enough to win the championship. If we can get second here and maybe win the last race. The N64 graphics not helping us massively in terms of where we're going. That's probably cost us the race, if I'm honest. Like, just accidentally turning is a big no-no when you're not supposed to be turning. I'll have to remember that for when we do Le Mans 24 hours, otherwise it'll be a disaster. I'll be like, I've accidentally turned. Where I will accidentally turn, I don't know. Hopefully not on the Marsan. It's a straight now. Yeah, I know I've turned. I've gone the wrong way. It's still possible though that we could make this up. We're only 40 meters or so from the car in front, so I know in remote control car terms that's quite a lot of car lengths, but we're getting there. We've got some fireworks as well, so if we get within shooting range, we can have a go at shooting them with the fireworks. I think this track is just my arch nemesis, to be honest. We did hit him once with the fireworks. I'm hoping if we can just sneak ahead, we can get third and not have to play this stupid track again. Come on car. Come on, little car. Come on. Oh, he's messed up big time there. Maybe we can sneak... no, we couldn't sneak second. I was hoping. So what does that do to the overall standings? I'm still first, so if I finish ahead of the Vulcan Turbo and Dr. Grudge... yeah, if we finish first in the last race, that will not have cost us at all. So we've gone first, second, third. And now we're at the Botanical Garden, which I did practice before streaming, so... I should be slightly better at it. I don't know. It's hard to tell with this kind of game because, like I say, some of the tracks are worse than others. Like, this isn't too bad. There's one jump that I keep trying to make that I know I can't. Why are you zapping me? I'm going 0 miles an hour now. Don't zap me. I'm an electrician. You're not supposed to zap electricians. It's just bad luck. It's like walking under a ladder or something. Well, he encountered some bad luck, and so did... wow, okay, everyone's falling off, including me. Second place is okay. I can't remember who was in first. Was it Dr... oh, and he's hit the wall. They've all hit the wall. They're all trying to do the shortcut, and they just can't hack it. I sort of hit the wall and then decided not to, which was a great decision, because now we are pulling away from the pack. But this is a 5-lap race, because apparently the Botanical Garden is just not short enough as a track. Well, not long enough as a track. So that he's got a bit of a turbo burn. Oh no, now with a bomb. I don't want to be the bomb. I literally don't want to be the bomb. Let me give the bomb to someone else. Come on. Come on. Nope. Oh well, it didn't affect... the thing is, sometimes it doesn't affect you that much. If you're going in a straight line and like everything's going well. But there's where we're going to make up our time, because everyone thinks they can do that jump, and they just can't. Whereas we know we can't do the jump, so we don't even try. I did sort of try. The car is still a little bit uncontrollable, but at least it's sort of close racing action. I think if we were getting dominated, this wouldn't be half as fun. some water sound effect for some reason. I mean, it is a botanical garden. Maybe there's like a little zen pool or something somewhere. Into second place. I don't really know. Looking at the standings, there should be 1 or 2 racers who we could allow to come first if we had to and still win. But I think Dr. Grudge is the one that we can't allow to win. So if we just come first, then it won't be a problem. But you know what it's like. You try and win the race and end up coming like 4th. That's just how it be. Still, no one's driving particularly well. It's not like the AI are kicking our butts, so... Oh. Okay, great. Just hit a wall then. That's wonderful. I was trying to get people with the water balloons, but all it did was slow us down. So we're going to just literally avoid the wall. Into second place. It's literally wherever you point the car it goes. It's sort of like a little missile. Which is good, because, you know, RC cars are a bit like that. But also, how do you drive a missile? Like a V1 rocket. The game's frame rate is so choppy. Like, this is exactly what's being displayed on my screen. Like, it's not even a bandwidth thing or like a streaming thing. It's literally this is how the game performs, which is a problem. I think that's one strike against it on the N64 is just the frame rate is absolutely terrible. That being said, I finished first. Which means we've won the championship as well. Another 5 points, so joint second goes to the Vulcan Turbo and Dr. Grudge, and the RC Bandit was absolutely terrible with 3rd, 4th, 4th and 4th. End championship, give me a prize car. There's Dr. Grudge, he came joint second. That's the car. And there we are, in our tiny little RC Bandit. Did we get a prize car? Surely we get a prize car. New delivery of cars. Check the stack of boxes on the car selection screen. Nice. Okay, so we're going to do the Silver Cup, I think, next. So what have we got? We've got Candy Pebbles. That's an amateur car. We've got RC San, who is apparently a Japanese car. RC San. And that's it. It's 2 cars. So I quite like the look of Candy Pebbles in terms of just being a very balanced car. Although it is pink. Oh well. We'll have a pink car. No, I meant... Okay. I meant to choose the Silver Cup, but for some reason I chose the Bronze Cup, because I just didn't occur to me not to. Sometimes games being like, do you really want to quit? It's like, oh no I didn't. But most of the time you're like, no, I want to quit. Like, just let me quit, come on. Candy Pebbles. Yep, that's great. Silver Cup. Cool. Finish 3rd or better in each race to progress. We know how it goes. So Toy World 1 is the track. That sounds interesting. I can get behind Toy World 1. That being said, I've got no idea where it goes. So this is going to be interesting. Here we go. Plus, I don't know how Candy Pebbles handles either. Okay, it's not too bad. It's kind of oversteery, which is... It could be bad later on, but it feels alright at the moment. Whoa, okay. Downhill section. We'll just do a barrel roll. Preston asked us to earlier, but I think it's been long enough that was not... Oh, nice! That was not a reaction to his comment. It was just a barrel roll that I did. There's 6 laps of Toy World, which seems a bit excessive, if I'm honest, considering we haven't even done 1 lap at the moment. Maybe it's a short track. Lots of noises going on. We've got a little marble that we can send out behind us. That was a thing that happened. So that was one lap of Toy World. Lots of confusing stuff in Toy World. I think... Did he just explode? What is going on? What is even going on? So we've got to go down the stairs. Okay. That's a good line to take. So we're in first. Going to go over the keyboard because of course we are. Yeah, no, I like the tracks and the handling isn't too bad in this difficulty mode. But I think once you step it up to full speed, there's just too many obstacles and stuff that you can't avoid to really... You'd have to know the tracks, which obviously... Oh, great. Now I'm a bomb. That's just great. And I've got no one to pass it to because I'm in first. I'm comfortably in first place. So we'll just explode. Yep, that's fine. At least you can recover. Oh, there's a little top... Oh, okay, great. There's a little top track. Maybe we'll use this as a shortcut. I like shortcuts in these kind of games. There need to be more of that sort of thing. Nice. Okay, we found a few shortcuts which are going to help us. Still figuring out the game a little bit. But this is what I like to do on the Retro Lounge. I think if I play stuff that I know too well, sometimes you just end up running through it without really thinking too much about it. Whereas, obviously here I didn't have... We're literally stuck. Are you kidding? How do I... Okay. No, that's the wrong way. Okay, we'll go the right way. So from first place to last place. Press F to pay respects for that, because that was absolute just cheapness. We do need more RC racing games. I mean, Micro Machines is good, Stunt GP is good, but like, even just trying to list racing games that exist, I've got to about 4. So, more racing game series, like, I don't know, just kart racing in general is good, but obviously RC racing is a little twist on the kart racing genre that hasn't been exploited to its full potential. If you know any RC racing games I should check out, I think there's like RC Revenge Pro is a thing. That's definitely a game. I can't remember if that's the good one or the bad one though. There is a bad one. Okay, we've mastered the stairs and we got fireworks. And they hit as well, so that was good. We can make our way back up into first. At least with 6 laps we can deal with the race ending incident that happened to us. It was no one's fault, we just sort of got a bit stuck. I mean, it was my fault obviously, but that means it was no one's fault. It's a terrible obstacle to put there really, just something in the way of a jump. If we can literally just come third, like, okay, great. Just cut all the power out then. That is my least favourite weapon, and I think I've used it myself a few times, but it's not very good. We have made our way into third though. If we can make our way into second and finish, like, this would be a successful race just for the fact that we've kind of stolen second from... I know we had first locked down for a little while, but events have happened. You know, we've got a new strategy on the MFD. Come on. Oh, come on. Let's get in his way. Let's get in his way. Oh. Well, we got second. We literally got second place. Did we? Or third? No, we got third. Okay, I lied. We were in alphabetical order. Well, third's better than fourth, so we'll go with it. Toys in the Hood 1, M. What's the M for? It's not in reverse, is it? It's literally in reverse. That's great, because I don't even know this track forwards, so that's going to be tons of fun. Or is it? It's mirrored, that's what the M's for. It's not in reverse, it's mirrored. Okay, I can deal with mirrored, because I know where the turns are. I didn't know if they were lefts or rights to begin with, so that's not too bad. It's best to either hit that jump straight on or literally avoid it, as the AI just found out. He can have 3 sets of fireworks because, you know, it's his birthday. We're just celebrating with him. A few dogs barking in the soundtrack, that's pretty cool. I was thinking the other day about the weirdest sort of, not musical instruments, but things featured in songs. Or what way are we going? This way? This way. No. It took so long to tell me I was going the wrong way. Fine. Okay, we'll have to make it up from 4th. But yeah, like weird things included in songs that are kind of either percussive or just like there was a dog barking in rhythm there. So an example would be Serge Tankian had a little project where he had like a rhythmic cough in one of the tracks. He's just sort of like, it's a bit jazzy, and all of a sudden he's like and it's like, great, that's, I would have done another take if I didn't mean to leave the cough on the track, so I assume it was like not an accidental cough. I don't know. We're gonna take this shortcut because we need to catch up some time, and I didn't know that existed, so great. That's made up literally 0 time, but it was fun to do. And I can see the car in front at least. That's always a bonus when you can see the car in front. We've got 1 firework, so we're going to use it. He went quite far that time. Ah, there's more cars. Okay, this isn't too bad. It's difficult judging whether or not to go over the curbs, because obviously you run the risk of completely flipping yourself over. Yeah, that arrow is deceptive. It sort of tells you to turn right, but not really. But you do need to turn right. Like, we went the right way this time, but it also looks a bit like a straight on, so I don't know. I don't like that too much. You've got to be clear about where you want me to go in a racing game. Like, if it's not an on-track racing game, you get distracted by little things in the distance, and you're like, oh yeah, it's probably this way, and it's just not. So I think that's the lightning power up for us, so everyone else will have stopped for a second maybe? Hopefully. We're getting there. We're on lap 3 out of 4 and we're second, so we might actually win this if we just retain our composure and remember to turn right on that one absolute stupid turn. I'm not going to risk going over the curbs because I know we'll flip ourselves over if we do that. And it's not that much of a shortcut either, like it's fine, but you might as well just go around. Luckily, with someone in front of us, we don't forget to take that turn. Yeah, the music's not bad at all. I'm kind of getting into it. I do remember having fun with this game when I played it. It's just the sort of thing that you pick up every now and then to play. You sort of think, oh, I'm in the mood for a bit of RC racing, rather than like, I need to play this for hours on end. Still, we're in first place, which is great. I know you can't actually see what position I'm in, but when there's nothing above the car on the little status thing, so you see NY54 is the car behind us. When there's no car above that, we're in first place. Do you mind fireworking me, mate? I'm going to get a firework and explode you in a minute. I'll probably get the bomb though, my luck. No, we got the marble that can roll behind us, so since we're in first place, we'll do that. We might win. The problem is the end of this track features that tunnel section, and it's kind of easy to get flipped on that tunnel, so we need to be extremely careful. But I think, touch wood, we might do it. Whisper it quietly, or whatever the phrase might be. We've just got to drive well through this tunnel, not up the walls. And then don't cut that corner off too much, and we win. Just going to wait for everyone else to finish. There's RC San, New York 54, and the other guys got lost apparently. So that puts everyone on 8 points, apart from Mouse, who just came fourth both times. So, you know, sets us up well for the third race here in Ghost Town 1. So this one's set in Need for Speed Undercover. Sharp left turn to start. We'll just pretend that didn't happen, because it didn't. So this is literally just like a Wild West ghost town, which is fine, I guess. Where am I supposed to go? The direction arrow is just like pointing where I'm driving, but is it in there? What? Well, I don't think there's much coming back from that, so we're going to try that again. We're going to follow the other cars just to learn the track, I think. So not flipping over to start was a really good idea. Now, where do they go? Hey? Where did they go? Literally, they just all disappeared. I don't understand that. We're in third and we literally got lost, so I don't know what's going on with the AI, but... Oh. This is the least intuitive, like, track design I've ever seen in my life. It's just like, yeah, go this way. And it's like, but there's no way through. And they're like, yeah, just make it up, mate. It's fine. You'll be fine. I'm not particularly impressed with that sort of attention to detail in track design. I prefer my tracks to be, you know, competently designed. I don't know who's in first place, but they're probably going to... So you have to do... Okay, I think it's got like a little checkpoint there, so you can't just go straight on, but that's weird to have a U-turn where you just go basically where you came from. That's not the most intuitive thing. And then up here? Yeah, I don't like this track at all. This is... It's not confusing, it's just like badly designed. And then it splits, so you can go either way. I think the handling combined with the tracks is just... combined with the frame rate as well, just makes for a bad kind of recipe. Like, it's not a bad game at all, but like... there's just something about it that doesn't sit quite right. That's a box. It looks just like a ramp, but it's a box. Are you telling me I didn't pass the checkpoint? It's literally a U-turn. Why do I have to go back? And there's no like checkpoint marker. It's just sort of like, nope, that didn't count. Do it again. Like, we are miles away from the leader, so it doesn't look like we're going to win this, but we might. Well, the guy in first has just finished. Obviously this is his home track and he knows exactly where it goes, because I'm still on the third lap out of 4. And it looks like the NY54 car might pass us as well, which wouldn't be good because that would put us in 4th, and we are now in 4th. But if we can come third here, I think... Oh. Well, I'm going to give up on that. This is such a bad track. This is like my least favourite track that we've played this evening. By a mile. And I thought Museum was going to take that honour. Okay, this is different. We didn't go through there before. But then that just messes you up for the next turn. What is even going on this track? Bit of tumbleweed going by. That was sort of in the game, in the track development room in in Acclaim's headquarters, they were like, yeah, tumbleweed rolling by, yeah, we're not going to design any tracks. That was bad. That wasn't... 0 out of 10 for that track. Literally 0 out of 10. Still, we have to do it, so... Back to the grind. We know where it goes, basically, so this shouldn't be as hard, but like... I don't know, if you're going to design RC racing tracks, don't have them too complex, because everything's big, and like it's kind of hard to tell where you're going. This is just like design pointers for the team that made the game, even though it's already been released and is on a cartridge, so they can't really patch it. But, if you ever feel like patching it, this is what you need to do. It's a very sharp right turn there. In fact, so sharp that we've done a 180 into a wall. Yeah, no, I'm not doing more of that. What we're going to do is we're going to unlock some cars, because there are cheats for this game. Like any good old game, there are cheats for this game. And I think we need to see some of the other cars. So we're going to start race. We'll do a single race. And then we're going to unlock more tracks by putting in a different name. I don't know if you can do tracks and cars at the same time. We'll do tracks first, then cars. So the cheat is Carnival for some reason. I guess because it's got car in it. Carnival. Good thing I can spell. So I think hopefully that will have unlocked all the tracks. We're going to try something different, like Colonel Moss. He seems like a good car. So now, well, that hasn't unlocked all the tracks. So what a terrible cheat. Apparently there's 3 different all tracks cheats. So we'll try the next one, which is Tracker. That's one thing I don't like about games with cheats, is you look it up on Game FAQs and they're like, yeah, it's definitely this, mate. And you're like, okay, I'll stick it in, and it's like, that's not even a cheat for this game. It's like, why is it online then? Surely someone else has tried it and gone, this literally doesn't work. Anyway, hopefully that'll do. It's still locked. It's literally still locked. Like, there's one more cheat, and if that doesn't work, then I guess we'll just have to endure. There is a track editor, though, which I was hoping to try in this stream, so we haven't run out of options. Traction. It's got track in it, surely it's going to work. No, they're all locked. Okay, well that's not great. Did we do Toy World 2 or we did Toy World 1 before, I think. Let's try Toy World 2. And if it's the same one that we did, then tough. I quite liked it. It wasn't the worst. No, it's a different one, I think. So there's the toy train going by. What's different about this one? It's weird because they've got like Supermarket 1, Supermarket 2. It's like they had a few ideas and they were like, let's make a second track based on a supermarket instead of having another idea. Which is fine, but it's a little bit like, surely there's other places like the kitchen maybe? Like, you don't want to infringe on Micro Machines, but I'm sure kitchens are not trademarked to be included in games. Like, you can include a kitchen in your game without much fear of being sued. Sometimes the cars just stop. That's like... There's like the electrical power up where they can stop your car, but then there's just like, sometimes your car just won't respond. It's weird, it's like, it's almost competently made, and then there's a few things that just really let it down. Still, we're not doing terribly. We're in... Oh, thanks. Cheers for that. Thank you very much. You chuck some water balloons at whoever did that to me. So that was one lap of Toy World 2. I think I prefer it to Toy World 1, actually. Like, Toy World The other toy world was a bit more random, I guess. Obviously that's got the train which could crash into us, except we weren't doing anywhere near fast enough or slow enough for that to happen. So there's a little fork. We go left at the fork every time, just to keep it consistent. Gonna do a bit of a U-turn. Sort of. It sort of worked. There goes our massive marble. Our big ball, if you will. Was that a different marble, or was that the one that we... I don't know. Doesn't matter. I set an oil slick on the road and then literally drove through my own oil slick, so that was useful. Surely the finish line's got to be coming up pretty soon, so we don't want to let Fat Slug through, although we literally have just done that, so... Whenever I say, oh, we don't want to do that, we literally do it like the next second. Still, we should hold on to third. So first place has finished, second place probably will finish in a couple of seconds. Yeah, and there's us. Third. But I'd never played the track before, so it wasn't the worst thing. Let's take a look at that track editor. What's the absolute worst thing we can build? I mean, that they haven't already built, because obviously the things with loads of walls and that were pretty terrible as well. That's a sound effect. Okay, so if we start there, and then... Okay, we can rotate. How do we change the track piece, though? Oh, we can make it go upwards, but that's... It's just going to be a straight track at this rate. There's got to be a button to change what we're placing. Yes, there is. Okay. And modules. Start grid. We've got a start grid. Let's go with some humps. You know, like Rihanna or whoever did My Humps, that song. What else have we got? A narrow diagonal. Yeah, we'll do one of those, and then... Just getting to grips with this is, like, fairly difficult. How do you rotate? Okay, never mind. We'll just have the one diagonal. I'm fine with that. There's lots of, like, pretty crazy pieces. So, chicane, followed by a chicane, followed by a chicane, because I'm never going to be able to drive this in a million years, I know. Then a bend, but I want it to go the other way, so not that. That's just making it massive. Okay. None of the above for that. You'd think... Ah, there we go. I found the rotate button. We're all good. So if it then comes back on itself a little bit... This is going to be the worst track to drive. I already feel it. But we can't stop now. We're addicted to the shindig. Bank turns... Oh, a narrow piano strip. That seems like something that we need to do. And then a square bend. There's not a lot that you can put on tracks by the looks of things. You can do a bridge, but obviously you'd have to get back to it somehow. Pipe. I assume you can go through the pipe then. Where was our start grid? This is like trying to build a roller coaster on Roller Coaster Tycoon or something like that. And then a big straight, maybe to finish. Yeah, let's do a straight. And then a bend. So this is literally just like a NASCAR course, but with a few differences. The main ones being the bends are square and there's loads of other stuff in the way. So we can also put pickups on the course. What I think is a good idea. Oh, just have more at the start. Yeah, we'll just have more at the start. That's you can't get any fairer than that. Oh, no, don't delete a module. I need my start grid. A start grid facing the other way. Oh, now I've rotated it. It's all gone wrong. Right. How do we drive it? Oh, you can make it bigger. Well, it's fine for size. Export, I guess. Track has more than one start. Yeah, it does. You're right. I didn't know it wasn't supposed to have more than one start grid. I was trying to fit all the cars. Export. Okay, it's doing it. Finished. Great. How do we play it? You have not saved the current track. Do you want to save it? Yes. We will call it AA for Armbar Arcade. Okay, it will not be possible to save or load. Great. Well, don't save it then. I don't know if we'll be able to play it because apparently I need a controller pack to save, but let's see, time trial. Let's try the cars cheat as well, see if that works. The cars cheat is apparently cartoon. I'd be surprised if this worked, because none of the other cheats have. It's just spreading misinformation, game FAQs. I know I've misspelled cartoon, somehow. Fairly easy word to spell. But we're not here to win spelling bees, we're here to win races. Yeah, that didn't work at all, wonderful. Let's try the RC Bandit. Yeah, and we can't even play on our own track. Well, that's just the icing on the cake, really, isn't it? What might be interesting, though, is to see what the hardest mode is like, because it says realistic collision, and I'm kind of interested to see what realistic collisions are like. Also, we can try I'm going to try the Bronze Cup just because the Silver Cup had such stupid tracks in it that it doesn't seem worth doing it on the hardest difficulty. Plus, we know these tracks kind of well. So let's see what realistic collision is like. Hopefully we don't collide with anything. That'd be great. We're leading on the hardest difficulty, so it is pretty fast though. And we got spun out, so we're not leading anymore, but we're third. Definitely a lot faster, which shouldn't be a problem, but kind of is. Watch out for the marble. This is definitely more like fast-paced racing, but it just doesn't feel like the skills there. It's literally just like, try your best to avoid the chaos. Which is fine, but I don't know, I think there's other games that make you feel a bit more rewarded for playing well. Still, once again, the soundtrack is pulling through. It's like Sonic games. You can trust the soundtrack to be good, even if nothing else is. bang a firework up his wherever. Just mountain climb to the finish line. Okay, we're not doing badly here. I thought like the hardest mode was going to be like a whole lot harder, but it seems like because now we know the tracks, we know what to avoid in order to keep our car the right way up. The museum's going to be difficult though in this mode. Like anything with just fast driving and lots of turns. The only thing that we need to watch out for on this track is that one turn where it's like, oh yeah, turn right, but they don't really tell you to do it. Oh. It's that turn. Oh hi, do you want to like get out of my wheels? Thanks. This is realistic collisions apparently. Oh thanks. So he was unaffected by that. Realistic collisions just means the AI has infinite mass then. Wonderful. Which is weird because they're remote control cars. Like infinite mass on them is just stupid. Okay, we've got one lap to do it. We're in third at the minute. Could be going better, but it could be going worse. We could be in fourth. There's only 4 cars on the grid, so unlike not Wipeout, F-Zero X, there's not 30 cars on the grid, which is a start because we could be in 30th if we were playing F-Zero X. Like 4th wasn't a bad result there. Here it's dead last. So that's the thing that zaps everyone's power and hopefully allows us to get quite a long way into the lead. I can't see the car in front of us though, so didn't do that much. Like when we get hit with it, it does a ton of damage. Send a bowling ball out. Last chance to overtake someone, but I think we're going to come second here. Yep, second place. Not too bad. If we can win this championship, then I'll feel quite an achievement. I don't know how that sentence was going to end. I'll feel quite pleased with myself because we were struggling on the easiest difficulty and now this is the hardest, and it seems pretty much the same but with just faster cars. This bit's going to be nasty with fast cars. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't too bad. We got some water balloons. They're just pinging around all over the place. I don't think we've ever hit anything with a water balloon. They don't really do anything. Like, I'm sure if they mess with the electrics in another car, that would be great, but they just don't. Back on the ice, bit of a skid. We've got a boost, but the last place you want to be boosting around is on the ice. Oh, yeah, everyone's going the wrong way. That's great. Now, where do we want to boost? I think after this bit, coming through to the start line is probably the #1 place to boost, except someone put a firework right behind us the second we decided to boost, so it's kind of negated any effect of the boost. Thanks for that. Cheers. So helpful. You don't even need to touch the steering. Like, that was me trying to go straight and we literally skidded into a wall. So I don't know what their ice physics is, but it's not quite right. Like, you don't turn randomly on ice, you literally just, when you turn, you go straight. It's quite a big difference actually between the two handling models. So I think one of those power-up things was fake because there were two next to each other. We've just done a spin for some reason. I don't know. Don't really know where the track goes, but the guy behind us is also really struggling, so great, I guess. I mean, I like that the AI struggles sometimes because if it didn't, we'd have absolutely no chance in some of these races. But it just affects you so much. Whenever you hit anything, it's like, yeah, no, you're going to be last this race. And it's like, I'd rather not be last, thanks. I don't know, it's... Yeah, we came third, so that's how that goes. I'm going to take this opportunity to show you my t-shirt, because it's kind of a cool t-shirt. It came in the post the other day, so haven't had much of a chance to wear it. It had longer sleeves, but I decided to cut them down a bit because they were like 3/4 length sleeves, and I'm like, who has 3/4 length sleeves on a shirt? Like, it's supposedly a baseball shirt, but I don't know about that, Chief. Anyway, this is Museum, so get ready to die, I guess, because we still don't know this well enough to do it at full speed. We hardly know it well enough to do it at half speed, and already we're in a wall. That's the thing, if you hit any other races, you get in a wall. If you hit any items, you're in a wall. If you hit any obstacles, you're in the wall. This it's just unforgiving, and with a frame rate of like 15 frames a second, and like twisty turny courses that aren't badly designed, but you just have to be used to them. It is quite the challenge. Like, we've got used to this track, don't get me wrong, I'm not bad at it anymore, but I'm also not great at it either. And I think anything that affects the handling, because the handling's already a little bit kind of off the wall, so... Oh, thanks, just pump me down there, that's wonderful. Cheers for that. Somehow we retained second place, and then we firecracked it into a wall into ourselves. It's just amazing what you can manage to do when you absolutely are terrible at a game. It's like, oh, the places you'll go, terrible game edition. The game's not terrible, I am. Nope. Just crashed into that out of nowhere. Oh, we finally hit someone with a water balloon. Also missed out on the firework, but it doesn't really tell you, like, when you're being targeted by a firework, it's kind of hard to tell, so... I don't know, I've got a few complaints of this game. I'm sure it's better on the Dreamcast, and maybe we will check it out on the Dreamcast at some point. At no time soon, though. I need quite a big break from it. Maybe the Dreamcast cheats work, because... You know, I was looking forward to unlocking all the cars, because usually I think, oh, I'm going to Google some cheats, but I had them up ready and it was like, none of them worked, so I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't that. So one more lap of this course. My least favourite course, but we are quite, well, we're not comfortably third, but we are in third. So we'll try and retain third place and not completely fail. I mean, if you finish the championship, you basically have passed it, so it's not like coming third in every race means you've lost. It's just you haven't won. They're different things. Not losing and winning, two different things. I don't know what's happened to us. We sort of stopped and then span into the other direction. And okay, well that... No then. Sometimes the game's just like, nope, and then you end up in fourth. Which is exactly what's happened here. That is a devious little corridor as well, like with the sign and the little bits where you can go wrong. Yeah, we're not going to retry that. Have I heard of MotorStorm RC? It sounds familiar, but I don't know exactly what it is. What? Can you expand on MotorStorm RC? I'm trying to remember because I played like RC Revenge Pro, which is obviously a different game. Stunt Arena. I've seen a thing that says Stunt Arena. I'm immediately going to the Stunt Arena. Let's use RC San for the Stunt Arena. Okay, so we got a chance to get stars in the Stunt Arena. So there's 20 stars to collect. Let's go and get some. There's a loop-de-loop. And loop. We got 2 stars for it. Although we didn't exactly stay on track, but... Whoa. It's pretty fast, this car. Oh, wow.
Okay, that sounds great, because I love the MotorStorm games. I might have to check that out. That sounds really good, actually. Like, we do need more RC games. If there's one thing we need in this world, it's more RC games. And to stop Brexit. But mainly RC games. So, I guess the stunt arena is like seeking out the stars. Which I guess is kind of... I like stunt arenas in RC games, because it's kind of like that's exactly what tiny cars should be doing, is flipping around all over the place. So let's seek out a ramp. Problem is these like ping off at the speed of light. I don't know if you can sort of tell, but the second I turn, the car's like, yeah man, I'm going in this direction. And I'm like, okay. Maybe we want to be a little bit more careful with our heading, but sure. So I think we did miss out on one. You can't even go in a straight line. Like, I don't know, as good as the game could be, I think just some of the handling elements kind of ruin it. Like, it's so hard to steer even where you want to go. And like, I'm sure there's people that love this game that know what they're doing, but if you pick it up and you're expecting it to be anything like any... I mean, I was going for that star, and we were how far off? Yeah, I think RC mods are like, they're good, but it's not a full RC game. Like, if you've got the sort of track editor, the stunts, like a big selection of RC cars, like Stunt Grand Prix had this thing where you'd sign for a team and you could like upgrade your car throughout the season, and that was a really cool thing. I'm gonna have to play like Stunt Grand Prix at some point, but it is on the Dreamcast, which means we'll have to get through our reliability issues with the Dreamcast. Maybe seek out a new Dreamcast. Maybe it's time to put our current one to bed. Didn't have enough speed there. Still, I'm glad they included a stunt arena. Like, I didn't see it in the options because it was kind of buried at the end. But maybe the cars are a little bit too fast for the stunt arena. I don't know. There we go. We got another star. I don't think I'll be getting all 20. I can tell you that. Yeah, Acclaim had quite a lot of hit and miss games, as I recall. Like, there's not that many Acclaim games where I'm like, oh, this is the best thing ever. They're just sort of like, yeah, that was a game that could have been better, but was alright. I've never really rated Acclaim that highly. I mean, the stuff they did for the Dreamcast was fine, but this is a bit of an empty stunt arena as well, if I'm honest. Like, there's not a huge amount here. Like, we just keep getting flipped over, and I know there's 20 stars to collect, but they're all basically just up ramps, so if you find all the ramps, you find all the stars, presumably. Except the car won't even go in the right direction to get the stars. It's a tough one. It's not like game breaking, but obviously steering in a driving game is quite a big part of the game, so I think we can mark it down a little bit at least for being just a bit jumpy. I've played Turok. Turok's on the N64 as well. Like, Turok's alright. It's a bit like a sort of discount 007, I guess. Like, there's shooty bits and that. And like Perfect Dark, I think, is quite similar as well. But they're just... Turok's not as good. Yeah, this car is just not... Like, it would rather rev up against the wall than do what I say. I don't know if the Dreamcast version is any better, because, like, part of it's the frame rate, part of it's the controls. I don't know, but we've done okay. We've not done the worst with this. What's this? Oh, it's just the loop-de-loop, I think. It's been fun to check out a game that I haven't played in quite a long time. I'll definitely be playing some more stuff soon. I might, for the next Nage Retro Lounge, do a bit of a Twitter poll, see what people are feeling to be played, because I mean, I've picked a few N64 games more recently and just gone, this is what we're doing. So maybe we'll get some audience participation going on Twitter. You can sort of tell me what you'd like to see in the Retro Lounge. But for now, I think we'll drive endlessly around the course. And we'd already got that star, apparently. And yeah, thank you for joining me in the Retro Lounge. It's always good to have a little chill out and see what's going on in games from yesteryear. What was that? Did it just fail to load? Or oh, there's a little stump hole down there. Yeah, if you haven't already, follow us and stuff on Twitter. Twitter? Twitch? Twitch is the word I was looking for. I mean, you can follow us on Twitter if you want, but you're better off following us on Twitch, I think. We got YouTube. There might be a video on Friday. We didn't actually have a chance to get together and record anything for Friday, so AJ might come through clutch for that. Stream is dropping frames more consistently now, so I'm going to bid you a good night, and yeah, have a good evening. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time in the Armbar Arcade.